Hey everyone, and welcome to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. Today we're going deep on something really important for American retirees like you.
Yeah, protecting your wealth.
Exactly. And setting yourself up for a solid retirement. We're going to be taking a close look at gold IRAs.
That's right. We're going to break down everything you need to know
From the basics.
to some more, advanced strategies. And we'll be using the Gold IRA Blueprint website as our guide. You can find that at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
So right, and while you're there, don't forget to grab their free checklist. It'll help you choose the right gold IRA company. Really great resource, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's get into it. Why is everyone talking about gold IRAs these days? What makes them so appealing, especially for folks thinking about retirement?
Well, it all starts with gold itself. Historically, gold has been seen as a safe haven asset, a store of value. Tends to hold up well during times of economic uncertainty or inflation.
When the value of the dollar goes down,
Right.
the price of gold often goes up. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does that translate into an IRA, a retirement account?
So a gold IRA lets you hold physical gold or other precious metals as part of your retirement savings. So instead of just stocks and bonds, you've got gold in the mix.
Acting as a sort of buffer.
Yeah, like a buffer against economic storms.
So it's about diversifying your portfolio, not putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of the key benefits of a gold IRA. By diversifying with gold, you're potentially reducing your overall risk. If the stock market takes a hit,
Yeah.
your gold holdings might help to offset those losses.
Okay. I'm starting to see the appeal here, but let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually set up one of these gold IRAs?
It's not as complicated as you might think. The first step is choosing a custodian.
Okay.
And this is a company that will hold and manage your gold IRA assets.
So like picking a bank, but for your gold.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Okay.
Research is crucial here. You want to choose a custodian with a strong reputation, transparent fees, excellent security measures.
You wouldn't just trust your gold to anyone.
Right.
So you choose a custodian. What's next?
Then you set up a self-directed IRA with that custodian.
Okay.
And a self-directed IRA gives you more control over your investments, allows you to choose things like gold that aren't typically offered in traditional IRAs.
So that's where the self-directed part comes in.
Right.
It's like taking the wheel and charting your own course.
Exactly.
Rather than going with just the standard options.
Precisely. It empowers you to make investment decisions that align with your own goals and beliefs about the economy. Once you've got your self-directed IRA set up, you'll fund it, either by rolling over money from an existing retirement account or making new contributions.
Hold on. What does rolling over mean exactly? I've heard that term before, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Rolling over is simply transferring money from one retirement account to another without incurring any tax penalties. So if you have an old 401k from a previous job, for example, you can roll those funds over into your new gold IRA.
Got it. So the money's in the account. Now what? Time to buy some gold.
You got it. But there are rules.
Okay.
You can't just buy any gold off the street. The IRS has specific requirements for the types of gold you can hold in a gold IRA.
Oh, really? So there's IRS-approved gold?
It is.
What makes it different?
It mostly comes down to purity. The gold has to meet certain fineness standards to qualify. For example, if you're buying gold coins, popular options include American Gold Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, and Gold Britannias. These are known for their high purity. They're easily recognizable, which helps with resale value down the line if you ever need to liquidate your holdings.
So you've got your IRS-approved gold. What happens next? Does it get delivered to your house?
Not quite. For a gold IRA, the gold has to be stored in an IRS-approved depository.
Okay.
And this is a secure, insured facility, specializes in holding precious metals.
Oh.
They handle all the logistics of storage, ensuring everything is compliant with IRS regulations.
Wow. It's a lot more structured than I imagined.
It is.
But it makes sense. You want to make sure the gold is safe and sound.
Absolutely. And speaking of safe and sound, now might be a good time to remind our listeners about that free checklist available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Good point. Choosing the right custodian and depository is crucial for the security and success of your gold IRA. That checklist can guide you through the process of comparing different companies and finding the best fit for your needs.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered choosing a custodian, setting up a self-directed IRA, funding the account, buying IRS-approved gold that gets stored in a secure depository. But is that the only way to invest in gold within a gold IRA?
That's a great question.
What if you don't want to deal with the hassle of physical gold?
There are other options.
Right there.
Yes, besides owning tangible gold bars or coins, you can also invest in gold ETFs.
ETFs, what are those exactly?
ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund.
Okay.
A gold ETF is essentially a basket of stocks that track the price of gold, and they're traded on stock exchanges just like regular stocks.
So it's like a digital version of gold in a way.
You could think of it that way. With a gold ETF, you're not physically holding the gold, but you're still exposed to its price movements.
Interesting. So it's a more indirect way to invest in gold. What are the advantages of that approach?
Well, gold ETFs tend to be more liquid than physical gold. They're easier to buy and sell because you're simply trading shares on an exchange. And they often have lower management fees compared to holding physical gold in a depository.
So for someone who wants a more hands-off approach or maybe prefers the familiarity of the stock market, gold ETFs could be a good option within a gold IRA.
Exactly. It comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
And you know what aligns best with your individual investment strategy.
This is already giving me a lot to think about. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to address the elephant in the room: risk. Every investment carries some level of risk, and gold IRAs are no exception. What are some of the potential downsides or risks that people should be aware of?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's crucial to be aware of the risks involved with any investment, and gold IRAs are no different. Let's start with market fluctuations.
Okay.
The price of gold, like any commodity, it goes up and down. It's influenced by various factors such as global demand, interest rates,
Right.
even geopolitical events.
So even though gold is seen as a safe haven, its price isn't always stable.
Exactly. There can be periods of significant price volatility. For instance, back in the early 1980s,
Okay.
gold prices soared to over $800 an ounce, only to plummet and stagnate for the next 2 decades.
Yep.
More recently, we saw gold hit record highs in 2020 during the height of the pandemic,
Right.
followed by a correction in the years since.
Wow. That's a pretty wild ride.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that volatility as an investor?
Yeah,
How do you avoid making emotional decisions based on those short-term price swings?
that's where a long-term perspective comes in. When you invest in gold, you're not doing it for a quick profit. You're looking for a stable asset that can help preserve your wealth over time, especially during periods of economic uncertainty.
So it's about riding out the waves, not trying to time the market perfectly.
Precisely. And that brings us to another important point: management fees. Like any investment account, gold IRAs come with fees. Custodians charge fees for storage administration and other services.
I'm guessing those fees can vary quite a bit from company to company.
They absolutely do. That's why it's so important to compare fees when choosing a custodian. You want to make sure you're getting a fair deal
Right.
and that those fees aren't eating into your potential returns.
Makes sense. It's all about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between quality service and reasonable cost. And speaking of finding the right company,
Yes.
let's remind our listeners about that free checklist over at goldarablueprint.com/exclusive.
Good idea. That checklist can help you evaluate different gold IRA companies and make an informed decision.
Yeah.
It covers key factors to consider, such as fees, storage options, customer reviews, and the company's track record.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides of a gold IRA, price volatility and management fees. But let's get back to the positive side.
Okay.
What are some specific strategies to maximize the benefits of a gold IRA once you have one?
Great question. One of the best things you can do is stay informed about the financial markets. Keep an eye on gold prices, of course, but also pay attention to broader economic trends, things like inflation, interest rates, and geopolitical events.
So it's not just about watching the ticker tape for gold prices.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture, how various forces might impact your investments.
Exactly. Knowledge is power when it comes to investing. The more you understand the dynamics of the market, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions.
That makes sense. But let's be honest, keeping up with the financial news can be overwhelming.
It can be.
There's so much information out there. Any tips for making it manageable?
Start with reputable sources.
Okay.
Look for financial publications known for their accuracy and objectivity. And don't feel like you need to become an expert overnight. Even just staying aware of major trends can make a difference.
Okay, good advice.
Yeah.
So staying informed is key. What else can we do to maximize a gold IRA?
Remember that concept we discussed earlier, diversification?
Yeah.
Well, that applies within your gold IRA as well. Don't just stick with gold. Consider adding other precious metals to the mix, such as platinum and palladium.
Well, interesting. So a precious metals IRA.
Mhm.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But why those specific metals? What makes them good additions to a gold IRA?
Platinum and palladium often share similar market drivers with gold,
Okay.
meaning they tend to move in the same direction. However, they also have their own unique industrial uses,
Right.
which can impact their prices independently of gold.
So it's about spreading the risk even further and potentially benefiting from different market trends.
Precisely. Diversification within your gold IRA can add another layer of protection
Okay.
and potentially enhance your returns.
And speaking of returns,
Yes.
let's talk about another strategy for maximizing your gold IRA. Dollar cost averaging.
Dollar cost averaging.
I've heard of that, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. Can you break it down for us?
Of course. Imagine you decide to invest $1,000 in gold every month, regardless of the price.
Okay.
Some months gold might be up, and you'll get fewer ounces for your $1,000. Other months gold might be down, and you'll get more ounces for your money. Over time, this strategy averages out your purchase price, reducing the impact of market volatility.
I see. So instead of trying to time the market perfectly,
Yeah.
which is nearly impossible,
Right.
you're consistently investing a set amount, regardless of the price fluctuations.
Exactly. It takes the emotion out of investing and helps you to stay disciplined,
Right.
which is especially important for long-term goals like retirement saving.
Okay, dollar cost averaging, got it. Any other pearls of wisdom to share about maximizing a gold IRA?
One last but very important point. Keep your gold IRA separate from other investments.
So don't mix your gold with your stocks or bonds in the same account.
Right. Keeping it separate makes it easier to track the performance of your gold IRA specifically, and to make adjustments as needed. It also helps you maintain a clear understanding of your overall investment strategy.
That makes sense. Keep it clean, keep it organized. So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the allure of gold as a safe haven, how a gold IRA can protect against inflation and diversify your portfolio, and the step-by-step process of setting one up. We've even delved into some of the risks involved, like market fluctuations and management fees, and discussed strategies for maximizing a gold IRA, such as staying informed, diversifying beyond just gold, and embracing dollar cost averaging.
We've also highlighted the importance of choosing the right custodian and depository, and how that free checklist at golderablueprint.com/exclusive can be a valuable resource in that process.
Absolutely. That checklist is a great tool for anyone considering a gold IRA. It can help you navigate the complexities of choosing a reputable company and ensure you're making an informed decision.
But even with all this information, the question remains, is a gold IRA right for you?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I imagine the answer will vary from person to person depending on their individual circumstances, risk tolerance, and financial goals.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. But by understanding the ins and outs of gold IRAs, the potential benefits and risks, you can make a more informed decision about whether this type of investment aligns with your overall retirement strategy.
And that's what this deep dive has been all about, empowering you with the knowledge to make the best financial decisions for your future. But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the historical performance of gold. You said that gold prices can fluctuate quite a bit, but we also know that gold has been a valuable asset for centuries. Can you give us some historical context? Are there specific examples where gold has really shined as a safe haven asset?
Oh, absolutely. There are countless examples throughout history where gold has proven its worth as a safe haven asset. One of the most striking examples is the period following the collapse of the Bretton Woods system in the early 1970s.
Okay, the Bretton Woods system. Remind me what that was all about.
So the Bretton Woods system was a post-World War II monetary management system that pegged the value of the U.S. dollar to gold.
Right.
But as the U.S. economy struggled with inflation and a growing trade deficit in the late 1960s, this system became unsustainable.
Okay.
President Nixon finally severed the dollar's link to gold in 1971.
So the dollar was no longer backed by gold? What happened then?
Chaos ensued in global financial markets. The dollar's value plummeted, and investors fled to gold seeking stability and a hedge against inflation. As a result, the price of gold skyrocketed, increasing tenfold in just a few years.
Wow, tenfold. So gold really lived up to its reputation as a safe haven during that period of economic turmoil.
It absolutely did, and this pattern has repeated itself throughout history. During times of war, political instability, or financial crises, gold has consistently served as a store of value, providing a sense of security and a hedge against uncertainty.
That's fascinating. It really highlights the long-term value of gold as a way to protect wealth. But let's bring this back to the present day. We're living in a time of unprecedented economic challenges, with inflation running rampant and stock markets experiencing significant volatility. Does gold still have a role to play in a modern retirement portfolio?
I believe it does now more than ever. While past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, gold's historical resilience and its ability to hold value during periods of economic stress make it a compelling option for those seeking to safeguard their retirement savings.
So it's not about getting rich quick with gold.
No.
It's about preserving your wealth, ensuring you have a comfortable retirement, regardless of what the economy throws at you.
Precisely. It's about peace of mind knowing that a portion of your savings is invested in an asset that has stood the test of time.
That makes a lot of sense. But I imagine some people might argue that gold is an outdated relic, that it's not relevant in today's digital world.
Yep.
What would you say to those skeptics?
I'd say that gold has endured for centuries, precisely because it's not tied to any particular government or economic system. It's a tangible asset with intrinsic value, unlike paper currencies or digital assets, which can be subject to manipulation or even collapse.
So in a way, gold represents a form of financial independence,
Yeah.
a way to protect yourself from the whims of governments and central banks.
You could say that. It's a hedge against the unknown, a way to diversify your portfolio and reduce your exposure to systemic risk.
I'm really starting to see the appeal of gold as a strategic component of a retirement plan. But with all this talk about the benefits of gold, we can't forget about the risks involved. We've discussed market volatility and management fees, but are there any other potential downsides to consider?
One potential downside is that gold doesn't generate income. Unlike stocks, which can pay dividends, or bonds, which pay interest, gold simply sits there, hopefully appreciating in value over time.
So it's not a passive income generator like some other investments.
Correct. It's primarily a store of value, not an income-producing asset. That's why it's important to consider your overall investment goals and risk tolerance before allocating a significant portion of your portfolio to gold.
This has been such an enlightening conversation. We've covered so much ground, from the historical significance of gold as a safe haven asset to the practicalities of setting up a gold IRA and managing it effectively. We've even delved into the potential risks and downsides, providing a well-rounded perspective on this fascinating investment option.
And we can't forget about that free checklist available at goldrideblueprint.com/exclusive for those who want to delve deeper into choosing the right gold IRA company.
Absolutely. That checklist is a fantastic resource for anyone considering a gold IRA. It can help you make informed decisions about choosing a custodian, understanding fees, and ensuring the security of your investments.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners, especially those approaching retirement or looking for ways to protect their hard-earned savings?
I think the most important takeaway is that gold has a long and proven track record as a safe haven asset, a store of value that has endured through countless economic cycles and geopolitical upheavals. While its price can fluctuate, its intrinsic value and its ability to hold value during times of uncertainty make it a compelling option for those seeking to preserve wealth and protect their financial future.
I completely agree. And while a gold IRA might not be suitable for everyone, it's certainly worth considering as part of a diversified retirement portfolio, especially in today's unpredictable economic climate.
Well said. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about. But remember, this is just the starting point. If a gold IRA piques your interest, do your own research. Consult with a trusted financial advisor and make sure it aligns with your individual circumstances and financial goals.
And don't forget to check out that free checklist at golderblueprint.com/exclusive. It's a valuable tool that can guide you through the process of choosing the right gold IRA company and setting yourself up for success.
Excellent advice. Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of gold IRAs. We hope you found this information valuable and insightful. Thanks for joining us, and here's to a secure and prosperous retirement for all of you.